Have you ever looked up at New York City's skyline and wondered, who built these giants? And why? Behind every towering skyscraper is a story of dreams, ambition, rivalry, and sometimes tragedy. Today, we uncover the untold history of how New York became the city of skyscrapers. Cityscape at Dusk Introduction. New York City wasn't always the jungle of glass and steel we see today. In the late 1800s, Manhattan was crowded, noisy, and growing faster than anyone imagined. Streets were jammed with horses, trolleys, and endless waves of immigrants chasing the American dream. But there was one big problem: land. Manhattan Island is small. The city couldn't expand outward anymore. So visionaries decided to expand upward. And that single decision, to build higher and higher, changed New York forever. Building construction, the birth of the skyscraper, late 1800s. In 1885, in Chicago, the very first skyscraper was built, the Home Insurance Building. But New York was watching closely. Developers in Manhattan wanted their city to lead the world. Soon, steel frame construction and elevators made the impossible possible. By the 1890s, New York began to rise. The New York World Building, 1890, became the tallest office building. The Flatiron Building, 1902, with its unique triangular design, became a global icon. New Yorkers realized these were not just buildings, they were symbols of power, progress, and pride. Crossed swords, the skyscraper rivalries. Then came the skyscraper race of the early 1900s, a battle for the sky. In 1909, the Metropolitan Life Tower rose 700 feet, inspired by Venice's Campanile. Just a few years later, the Woolworth Building, 1913, soared to 792 feet. People called it the Cathedral of Commerce because it looked like a Gothic church, but inside, it was all about business. Every new skyscraper had one goal: to be taller than the last. Statue of Liberty, the Great Depression, and a miracle in the sky. The 1920s brought even taller dreams. But then the Great Depression hit. Investors pulled out. Millions lost jobs. Yet in the middle of this chaos, construction continued on two of the most legendary skyscrapers in history. The Chrysler Building, 1930, with its stainless steel crown and Art Deco design. It briefly became the tallest building in the world. The Empire State Building, 1931, standing 1,250 feet tall. It was so huge that people called it the Empty State Building, because no one could afford to rent space inside during the Depression. Still, the Empire State became the ultimate symbol of hope. Proof that New York would rise, no matter how hard times were. Airplane tragedy and resilience. New York skyscrapers saw triumphs, but also tragedy. In 1945, a U.S. Army plane crashed into the Empire State Building in heavy fog, killing 14 people. Yet the building survived, a reminder of the strength of these steel giants. Decades later, the World Trade Center towers rose in the 1970s, symbols of modern America. But on September 11, 2001, tragedy struck again. The Twin Towers fell, shaking not just New York, but the entire world. Still, just like before, the city refused to stay down. The One World Trade Center, also known as the Freedom Tower, rose in 2014, standing 1,776 feet tall, representing America's spirit of resilience and freedom. Today, New York's skyline is a living museum of architectural history. From the historic Flatiron and Woolworth to modern giants like Hudson Yards and One Vanderbilt, each skyscraper tells a story of ambition, rivalry, tragedy, and triumph. When you look at Manhattan today, you're not just seeing glass and steel. You're seeing more than a century of human dreams stacked story upon story, reaching for the sky. The story of New York's skyscrapers is the story of humanity itself. When space runs out, we find new ways. When tragedy strikes, we rise again. When dreams seem impossible, we build anyway. That's why New York isn't just a city of buildings, it's a city of hope. If this story of New York skyscrapers inspired you, smash that like button and subscribe for more powerful stories of history, resilience, and human ambition. And tell me in the comments,